I feel like it's such a nebulous topic, and I'm actually afraid to talk about it.
Join me on this little side road of our podcast. Your brain will try to protect you from uncomfortable feelings.
Well, why did I even get married? You're telling me my partner isn't there to fulfill me and meet my needs. What's the point? Welcome back, you guys. Today we're going to talk about taking ownership over what you want in your relationship. I think it causes a lot of problems in a relationship when we expect our partner to fulfill us, because that's a want. We're giving our wants to them. We're like, I'm just not happy in our marriage, and we don't want to take ownership for our unhappiness. We want to. It feels easier to blame our partner. It's probably something you're doing. I'm unhappy because you do this, this, and this, and this. And we're not taking ownership over our experience in our relationship.
I believe a sense of ownership is vital in every aspect of life, perhaps never more so than when it comes to wardrobe.
We're putting it on our partner. And that might feel easier, but it's actually so much harder because we can't control our partner.
Yeah.
We can only control ourselves.
Well, your brain doesn't do something for stupid reasons. And sometimes the easiest path that your brain will go on will be to blame someone else or to blame your circumstances. Say, I'm not happy because I'm not making enough money. I'm not happy because my spouse isn't providing X, Y, and Z, because dinner's not ready on time, because I got home and I didn't have time to decompress, right? Because my wife just wants me to jump in on the chores all the time, right? Your brain will try to protect you from uncomfortable feelings by either offloading something else, saying that this is her fault that I'm not happy. It's her fault that my needs aren't met.
It is absolutely 150% your fault.
Please don't cry like that. Please don't.
Or distracting you by saying, let's just turn on some Netflix,
Yeah, buffering.
Buffering. So what we want to do with this podcast is step into, how do you take ownership over your needs? How do you say, okay, I'm the one responsible for X, Y, and Z in my life. And when my wife steps in and helps out with these wants that I have, it's just icing on the cake. It's a beautiful thing.
I feel like it's such a nebulous topic, and I'm actually afraid to talk about it. because then there's the whole conversation of well, why did I even get married? You're telling me my partner isn't there to fulfill me and meet my needs. What's the point of being married to him? Right.
Because one of the ways that we grow up seeing marriages portrayed, good marriages portrayed, is I meet her needs, she meets my needs, and together both of our needs are met.
And it's kind of like what the media feeds us too. You think about the whole Hallmark story. It's the guy and the girl, and they both have these amazing lives, but there's just something missing. And then they meet each other, and suddenly it's like a puzzle piece. It's this was the one thing in my life that was missing, and now you fulfill it, which I have a problem with, because that means if that person, it's a puzzle piece and you disconnect it, your life's empty. There's something missing in your life. And I don't think that leads to a fulfilling marriage. When you are so dependent on your partner being there that you feel like half a person without them.
Absolutely. There's a story that I love that I heard when I was a teenager by John By the Way. And so just to evaluate your needs, evaluate your emotions real quick with me. Join me on this little side road of our podcast. He shared this story about a guy that he knew who he would always say this to himself. He said, I would just play this in my head. I'd say, I can choose to be happy or I can choose to be sad. I choose to be happy. When things weren't going well at work, when things weren't going well at home, I can choose to be sad or I can choose to be happy. I choose to be happy. He was taking full ownership over his emotional state. Think about it. You're not offloading it on these circumstances in your life. You're not offloading it on, if my house is clean, if my spouse is doing X, Y, and Z, if I'm making this amount of money. You are owning it. This guy, one day when he was working in a store, he got mugged. A guy came in and shot him. He's laying on the floor, bleeding. And he thinks, I choose to be happy. No, he says, I can choose to live or I can choose to die. I choose to live. And he repeated that in his head until the ambulance came, took him to the hospital, and he did live. So look at your life, look at your emotions, and what are those things that you're saying, I'm not satisfied with this. I feel unhappy. I feel bland. I feel disconnected with a certain person. I feel disconnected from Jules, right? Can I take ownership over that? Can I say, okay, what am I doing that's contributing to that?
Mhm.
Because this is my feeling inside my heart and I need to own it.
And I love that every pattern in your marriage or any relationship is co-created. Like you are part of the problem, and that's the part that you have control over. And so that's why we teach this principle of ownership, because if you're wanting your relationship to change, which if you're here watching this podcast, like there's so many things you
Yeah.
could be doing with your time. If you're watching a relationship podcast, that tells me there's something that you're wishing is different. So I want you to be honest. And this is difficult to do because we don't want to look in the mirror and see what we're doing that's not working, right? It's easier to look at other people and see what they're doing. It's the whole scripture of, I want to take the mote out of your eye before I take the beam out of my eye. But Christ even tells us we have to look at ourselves first. And it's actually the best news because that's the part you have to control. All you have to do is be willing to experience some negative emotion. It's not fun to look at what we're doing that maybe isn't in line with our integrity and the higher version of ourselves, but that's our pathway to a better relationship and a better life. So look at this relationship, this pattern that you've co-created. What's your part in it? For an example, because I love examples, it helps wrap my mind around things. Some of my clients, most of my clients are women that I work with, and some of them have this pattern of feeling like they have to fix everything in their marriage. Like if there's a problem in the family, if there's a problem and just something's popping up, it's like the husband and the children, they keep coming to them to fix it. Like, mom, what do we do? Hey, wife, what do we do? And they're burnt out.
TV! Turn the fan on! I feel like my head's going to explode!
And I have to help coach them and ask them the right questions to get them to see that they actually like the control of it. They have a strong mind and they're really smart. And so they've created a dynamic in which everyone is comfortable coming to them to put out the fires, to problem solve. And they're exhausted by it. But they know if they ask mom enough, if they ask the wife enough, she's going to solve the problem and they don't have to do it. And it began with the desire to control. Like, I liked the control of it, but now I'm kind of burnt out. Are you willing to give up some of that control to let them solve the problems on their own in a way that you might disagree with?
I wanted to also share, not to take away from that story because that was beautiful, but something going on in my mind was like from the male perspective, from the guy's perspective, something that I struggled with taking ownership over early in our marriage, and I didn't even realize that I needed to, was a biological need. When we were first married in those first years of our marriage, I noticed, just noticed inside myself, oh my gosh, for me to feel confident in our relationship, like our relationship is good, we had to have sex.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, that was the strategy. And I didn't realize it was a strategy. I thought it was a biological need. I was like, oh my gosh, guys are like this. And a lot of guys are. We got that kind of wired in. But the beautiful thing about being a human with the unique brain and imagination that we have is that we can rewrite the programs in our mind. My program or strategy was like, once I have sex and those hormones are released, then I'm confident that our marriage is good and things are going well and I don't have to worry about that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And yes, sex is wonderful and it does release a lot of amazing hormones and chemicals in your bodies that produce certain feelings. But once I realized, and it took me years to get to the point where I could realize that I am confident in Julie, that she's here to stay. I'm confident in my relationship, in our marriage. Regardless of if we have sex or never have it again, I'm confident in our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, thankfully, we do have sex. It's not a never again thing. But, but once I made that decision that I choose to trust her, all the anxiety, all the worry just left my heart, and I was able to just trust and be confident in our relationship. That allowed me to be confident at work, because for me, another strategy that I had was it was hard to be confident at work when I didn't feel that confident at home.
Mm-hmm.
So choosing that confidence in my spouse, choosing to trust her, choosing to love her, choosing to believe that she loved me, even when our love languages didn't always match up, was a very powerful thing to rewrite the program.
Yeah, looking at what am I making this mean? And is that true?
Yeah.
You know, like take sex, like he was making it mean our relationship is on the rocks if I haven't been in the mood for sex in a while.
Yeah.
Which is my own thing, right? It has nothing to do with him. It has
Mhm.
more to do with me. And so taking that ownership and rewriting that meaning, looking at what's realistic in our relationship. And I love that question is,
Yeah.
are my expectations for our relationship realistic?
Yeah, back then I was taking more of the therapy route where I liked to analyze and look at our relationship. I was like, oh my gosh, guys are like this. They need sex to feel confident. Girls need to feel confident in their relationship before they have sex. It's just kind of the
Felt like a
biological.
catch-22.
But then it didn't empower me to ownership to change my actions. And once I finally made that decision, that's when our relationship,
Yeah.
I mean, it was a great relationship.
Mhm.
It's not like it went from bad to great. It went from great to beyond what I thought it could be. So very cool.
So, realistic expectations, I think a similar one for a wife, especially if you're a stay-at-home mom or you're just the one that's the primary caregiver and you're with the kids like maybe 80% of the time. When your partner gets home, you want some help. You're exhausted, you're kind of burnt out. But some women expect their partner to come home and just jump right into everything and know exactly how to help, what to do, and, just
Hmm.
to be that relief when they actually just did work a full day of work and they're also fatigued. So you have two fatigued adults who still have a massive amount of work ahead of them. Is it realistic to expect your partner to come home, jump in, and know exactly what you need to feel better? And I'm going to say, no, that's not realistic.
Yeah.
And sometimes the partner who's been working all day, even though you're both working all day, you've been with the kids, you would like some relief. When they get home, they probably need a few minutes to decompress. And that, I think that's okay. I think we need to give that to
Absolutely.
them.
Yeah.
Now, it's a different conversation if, they want to play video games for 2 hours. Like, that's not okay. Or they want to go out and golf with friends for 2 hours and you have been managing the household and maybe you work part-time and you're taking care of the kids and they're not jumping in to help. So there's ownership over what you want and need in your relationship, but your relationship is interdependent.
Yeah.
It's a partnership. And the way your partner shows up, it does affect you.
Can we take a step back and just as humanity, as a people, just agree that 5 p.m. sucks? Like, I don't know about you, but I've always you've got that image in your head of husband coming home from work, wife's dressed, home dinner's ready, beautiful hugs, and she's, we've got this image in our head of thinking that maybe life should be like that. But the reality is, if you've got small children at home, or if you're a mom taking care of kids or dropping them off at school, taking care of the house, by the time 5 p.m. comes around, all of your kids are home. They're all asking for help on homework. The house isn't finished. And in
Welcome
fact,
to our
it's getting
lives.
worse. And then husband comes home and he's been coming back from maybe a stressful day of decision making or feeling pushed around at work, whatever's going on there. And that's when you enter your home life together. And I think just being aware of everything that's contributing to that
It's
moment.
like, let's drop these expectations.
Yeah, let's
That can
give
help.
each other some grace.
Yeah.
And when you're able to do that and just notice it, point it out for what it is, it's a whole lot easier to take ownership over the feeling. Because I know people that are happy in chaos. They can be happy in chaos.
I'm not one
And
of
you
them.
can too. Okay, so now as you've been listening to us talk about ownership and accountability, hopefully the wheel's been turning in your mind and you've been able to see areas in your life where maybe you've been dissatisfied or feeling unhappy or feeling like your needs aren't met. We invite you now to take those moments and those needs, pick them apart and start to see what is this criteria that you've made for yourself to be happy or satisfied or confident in your marriage, and how can you take ownership? Because when you offload it to other people, when you offload it to your circumstances, it turns you into something to be acted on by those external circumstances, by those other people, rather than taking ownership and turning yourself into an agent to act for your marriage and grow into the type of person and couple that you're meant to be.
Yeah. You'll take a lot more massive action when you can get real and honest with yourself about what you can do, not what your spouse can do. What can you do?
All right, go love.
To love. Yeah.
Breath away. Don't need this.